In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys undeniable proof that Ripple and XRP do have a role to fill in the new financial system. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel out there, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we look at this video just recently posted by Subjective Views, and he's actually quoting French Hill that originally posted this, who is, yes, one of the congressional members. We have FIT21 will allow us to enable the internet of value. Listen close to this. This was on Fox Business.
I want to switch gears, ask you about your work on financial services and digital assets, your digital assets bill. FIT21 recently passed the House in a bipartisan vote. Now it's on to the Senate. Congressman, tell us about this. You know, there's a lot of criticism that the lawmakers writing these bills don't really understand the digital assets backdrop. Explain to us what this bill achieves.
You bet. FIT21 lays out a regulatory framework that directs the Securities and Exchange Commission, the bank supervisors, the Commodities and Future Trading Commission, how to handle digital assets so that we can have innovation in this country on blockchain, go to Web3, and it directs those supervisors how they should handle digital assets to make them fit for purpose, which is the FIT part of the acronym, with today's regulatory system. I think it'll create more jobs in the U.S., allow us to advance internet to the next stage, and create lower costs and more opportunities for consumers. We got a strong bipartisan vote. 71 Democrats voted with this in the House, and I think that sends a positive message to the Senate. Work with us, create a digital assets framework that allows America to innovate and lead the world in this technology.
How do the markets view this, do you think, Mark? I mean, you're an investor. You see, I mean, now you've got a similar amount of interest in crypto as you do in stocks. From time to time.
I'm actually surprised that we didn't see a greater rally in crypto after the conviction. Yeah. I would have thought that that would have been one heck of a use case for diversifying and actually having some assets maybe that the government doesn't see that closely, that they can't just confiscate from you. But, you know, obviously, President Biden was not okay with this for one reason or another. How much of this has to do with potentially the discussions that are underway about a central bank digital currency? Great
question. So in addition to passing FIT21 last week with that good bipartisan vote, we also voted legislation to ban the U.S. for creating a central bank digital currency without congressional direction and legal oversight. We control in Article 1 money and how money is formed. We didn't get the strong bipartisan vote there because I think they're defending the Biden administration and research on CBDCs. But the private sector should lead here. Yeah. Private sector stablecoins, using the dollar as the backing, which is another bill we have in Congress that's pending, will be the gateway to a digital asset future where the dollar continues to lead the world in tokenized transactions for payments. And so a dollar-backed stablecoin bill, plus a privacy bill, nationwide privacy bill, plus FIT21 create the kind of ecosystem I think that's perfect for innovators here to bring money here, technology here, and as I say, give consumers choice.
So you guys have it. And again, you know, as we really look at what's happening now around a lot of this legislation and regulatory movement, it is supporting the internet of value. Now, remember who benefits the most from this. It's the companies that have been around in the space that have been utilizing digital assets to actually forge the path towards the internet of value. Now, remember who coined this term and this whole movement originally. It was Ripple. Over here, we have the regulated internet of value, and this is from Citi. And this is regarding tokenization and DLT and this multi-asset financial network system that can be programmable, resilient, always on, and of course, global accessible. And it's interesting because if you want to dominate this cycle and absolutely crush it with profits, you need to go and check out the new course that I just dropped. And the best part is that it's completely free. That's right. It's completely free. There's going to be a link down in the description below. Go and get this course right now before the market goes absolutely parabolic. You know, we're now starting to see every single major player out there. We're talking about Citi, BlackRock, Fidelity, massive banks, central banks, the BIS, the World Bank, these are major players now all talking about what's happening, what's going on. And we really do focus on the regulated internet of value, which is a multi-asset nature of DLT, and this is going to be focusing on tokenization. We're also going to be looking at this from a perspective of, all right, well, if we are going to see CBDCs and we're going to be seeing stablecoins, we're going to see all these tokenized things of value, there needs to be a marketplace, there needs to be something that is settling all of these things of value. XRP is a perfect fit for that. There's obviously other assets that could be tapped into, but in my opinion, as we really look at this entire payment system that's rising behind the scenes, I do think that this is going to take over and ultimately replace what we have right now in terms of the old financial system. Now, beyond this, right, the Finternet, I always bring up the Finternet from the BIS because this is still fresh. Like, this is April of this year. And what's crazy about it is, like, these are the central bankers. Like, these are the central banks of central banks telling you, hey, like, this is happening. We are improving the current financial system through this new technology. And in my opinion, yes, this new technology will include Ripple and XRP, and we're going to be talking about why, obviously. But let's start off with how the Finternet is basically just the internet of value. Then we have the regulated internet of value by city. Then we have this presentation, transforming global payments. Remember, this is from roughly, I think, 2018, enabling the internet of value. And within this breakdown, we have the internet of value enable the world to move money like information moves today. Overview of Ripple solutions. We have the connectivity, how it works, right? Key functions, specialized for interbank payments, RippleNet Advisory Board and Rulebook. Again, this is where you see all of those big players. Then we have the case studies as well. And then down here, what I find very interesting about this, and by the way, here you have all of the big names behind some of their customers. Down here is where we see a full breakdown of the names that they're already engaged with. Now, remember, they have ongoing engagement with 40 plus regulators. These are just 4 of them during that time. Now we know that they are in the same room with the US Treasury. We know that they're in the same room with some very large players around the central banking system. We now know that they're working with the BIS. And on this list, we have the Bank of England, Accelerator Program, Federal Reserve, Faster Payments, International Monetary Fund, and even the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. Like, as we really look at Ripple, they have they've taken the time out to solidify these connections with all these big players to really kind of build out the next generation of payment technology and ultimately realize in the goal and the vision behind the internet of value. Now, beyond this, we also have, remember this from the other day, China's President Xi Jinping says it's important to build an open, inclusive, discrimination-free space for the digital economy. Building upon this announcement, right, I want to go over here to Fame21 Moore's video from August of 2023. The average schmuck is going to get wiped out. It's a new world order. Listen closely to this.
It is for this reason that South Africa continues to advocate for an open and rules-based global governance, trade, financial, and investment system. It must be a system that does not depend on the exercise of power or unilateralism, but by advancement of the interests of the peoples of the world.
So you guys have it. You know, it's a new world order. And yeah, it's all pertaining to the same aligned goal. Believe it or not, the US is also aligned with this, and it's all supporting the Finternet. But we need something to push us. Like, we can't just roll out the new financial system and say, hey, look, everyone, we're on the new financial system. Like, no, it's not going to work like that. Every single major innovation in the past, every single major change in the past, we started to see things, you know, breaking. We started to see things, you know, going crazy. There's been a lot of conflict. There always has to be some sort of major problem. Then we have to get the reaction, and then we push the solution. And in my opinion, the whole news around like what the BRICS are doing, how the US is falling behind, de-dollarization, the dollar is failing. It's all really supporting this move. Now, beyond this, right, we just got a major announcement from BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink. Big shout out to Subjective Views. We have new. Today, the G7 average debt to GDP is 129%. No matter how much we tax, how much we cut, or reduce that debt, it will not be enough. This is why building new infrastructure is critical, especially through public-private partnerships. This is a very big deal, and we're going to be talking about why.
The IMF and the World Bank were created 80 years ago when banks, not markets, financed most things. Today, the financial world is flipped. The capital markets are the biggest source of private sector financing, and unlocking that money requires a different approach than the bank balance sheet model of yesterday. There's still a lot of work to be done, but reform over the past 8 months have resulted in billions of dollars of new dollars for the developing countries' infrastructure. That's what you saw last week with the announcement of the Investor Coalition. BlackRock, GIP, KKR, and other major firms will deploy $25 billion in Asia's emerging economies. In a way, it's an Indo-Pacific counterpoint to Italy's Mattei plan, which is helping African economies grow, and that's important. Every country in the world needs a growth strategy. But if I could convey one more important message today, it would be the countries that need growth most right now are not just emerging economies. Great economic powers, including the G7, are in fact on the list and need growth going forward. All of us are staring down a growth dilemma. Whether we solve it or not, it's a significant economic fork in the road for our countries. Today, the G7 average debt to GDP is 129%. No matter how much we tax, how much we cut or reduce that debt, it will not be enough. The only way we can achieve this future of growth is by truly growing out of it. But just growth is becoming more important because we need to be focusing on our fiscal health. It is also becoming much more difficult to achieve. Within 25 years, most of the G7 countries will be on demographic downslope. Working age population will decline. The ceiling on growth will get lower and lower. This is why building new infrastructure is critical, especially through public-private partnerships. Infrastructure investments is a counterforce to the high debt, low growth economies.
Now, again, this is BlackRock literally telling you that now is the time to pivot. We're now building new infrastructure. It's critical, especially through these public and private partnerships. This is supporting the entire move away from the old financial system that we have been warning about for so long. Like now it's not just me telling you, it's not just, YouTube creators around the space telling you. No, it's literally the leaders of the financial world. We know BlackRock runs the show. We know BlackRock is one of the biggest players out there. And they're now literally telling you like, hey, now is the time that we need to build new infrastructure. We need to do this. It's critical. The old financial system is failing as we know it, which I'm pretty sure at this point, if you are, against that, and if you don't think that the old financial system is failing, then you are oblivious to what's going on. And that's just me telling you straight up. Now, outside of this, right, when we go back to this post from just March, where we had Robert Mitchnick from BlackRock's head of digital assets tell us regarding eventually we expect there will be a convergence where the best of the old and the new will become fused into a new infrastructure system and finance. They are already telling you the plan. They're already telling you what's going on. Now, as we do look at this, right, why did I say that public-private partnership list is very important to focus on? Well, we know that Ripple joined the BIS task force for cross-border payments, right? When we go over here to the CPMI work program and strategic priorities for 2024-2025, we could see in here, right? There's a few things like we have the risk management of financial infrastructures, FMIs. Again, just really kind of telling you about the risk. Down here, we have enhancements of cross-border payments. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting because when we look at this, we could see the full breakdown that this is focused on cross-border payments, specifically the challenges, right? Like addressing the challenges. But we have prioritization. Number one is payment system interoperability and extension, legal, regulatory, and supervisory frameworks, and then cross-border data exchange and message standards. Now, if we look at this down here, we can see a few things. Number one, we have a breakdown of the CPMI brings together central banks from across the world as well as private sector actors, which is private and public players collaborating on this around harmonization of API protocols, supporting interlinking payment systems, and really kind of just interlinking fast payment systems to make sure that we are enhancing cross-border payments. We have to foster the interlinking of financial payment systems or faster payment systems, improve access to payment systems, extend payment system operating hours, adopt harmonized ISO 20022 data requirements, and promote harmonization of APIs. Finally, the CPMI monitors infrastructure changes planned or implemented to identify areas that require greater attention to foster further progress. And this is all through digital innovation and payments, clearing, and settlement with the CPMI group, because this is private, public players tapped in to actually fix these issues. This is so crucial to focus on. And what's funny about this is basically supporting what BlackRock is telling you about how we need to work with the public and private sector. Even over here, you have like the old system will fuse with the new technology. And this is through collaborating with those, private and public sectors. It's crazy to me that a lot of people are not focused on this at a time where it's so crucial to be really looking at this in a waked up way, because a lot of people are asleep at the wheel. We need to wake up. We need to focus up on this because it is so important. Now, outside of this, remember that Ripple pushed their central bank digital currency platform in May of 2023, May 18th. Guys, they joined the BIS task force for cross-border payments in the middle of August. Think about how crazy that is. That's literally 3 months. Within 3 months, we got 1, Ripple pushing their platform for central banks. 2, XRP got cleared not as security. And then 3, they joined the BIS task force for cross-border payments. You seriously cannot make that timeline up. That is insane. So as we think about that, tell me how Ripple, through the CPMI group, is not working with the BIS, not working with all the big players tied to the CPMI group, which I've broken down in the past, to really usher in the new payment and financial system infrastructure around cross-border payments. And remember, Ripple's not the only player tied to this, but as we look at companies around this space, Ripple technically is the only player on the CPMI group. So think about how crazy that is. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.